Good evening, Principal Sir, and my dear teachers. Welcome to today's webinar. I, Ashok Kumar Singh, is going to talk about experiential learning. We will go through various slides and I will try to explain what experiential learning is. In today's webinar, we will know what is experiential learning and who is the proponent of this theory, the stage of its cycle, and what method we can use in experiential learning strategy. So, what experiential learning is? Experiential learning is the process of learning by doing, by engaging students in hands on experiences and reflection. They are better able to connect theories and knowledge learned in the classroom to real world situations. Experiential learning is not new and is an age old concept. Aristotle spoke of it around 350 BC when he wrote in the Nicomachean Ethics. It means for the things we have to learn before we can do them. We learn by doing them. Confucius also spoke about it at around the same period, however, as an articulated educational approach. Experiential learning is very recent. The concept of experiential learning was first explored in education and learning context by John Dewey, Kurt Hahn, Kurt Lewin, Jean Piaget, among others. It was made popular by David A. Cole. Experiential learning methodology is a well-known model in education, training, facilitation, coaching, and organizational development. It is an immersive, participant-focused, active approach to learning that involves learner of all ages, backgrounds, and experience level in an emotionally engaging learning experience. Or we can say it is the subset of the broader field of experiential education, which is a teaching philosophy with a multidisciplinary approach towards learning. It focuses on creating experiences that have a practical application of knowledge and skill to real world experiences to increase learners' knowledge and develop competence in skills and behaviors. It is effectively used in schools, higher education, therapy, corporate training, and other area for educational training, personal development, and skill building. Basically, it is learning by doing or learning based in experience and not only bookies. The teacher can always recount his or her experiences no matter what the subject is. So for this, we can have a plan as to how to apply learning to other contexts. Its emphasis. Experiential learning emphasizes on the process of learning and not on the product. The emphasis should be on the process and be sure if the process is correct, the product will be correct. Benefits of experiential learning. Experiential learning helps children to process some things of their own. This kind of learning method enables children to do some things of their own and in their areas of interest as they see new problems in real life situations. They will learn about effective solutions. It also demonstrates the practical usage of maths, science, language, and other learning activities. The next benefit is children learn about failures and how to deal with it. Experiential learning is important for children to learn about failures and how to deal with it. When children set out on the path to learning, they will come across several hindrances due to a lack of experience and knowledge. However, they will learn to overcome those challenges on their own, because of which they will feel proud of their achievement. Moving forward, regarding benefits, experiential learning is about collaboration. Experiential learning is not just about gathering knowledge through experience, it is also about collaboration. Children will study, work, or play with other children, and as a result, will, will collaborate and come up with their strategy to achieve a common goal rather than follow a fixed formula. This will make them to think more creatively in the future than simply assume that all problems have a right or wrong solution or right or wrong approach. Last but not least, it helps them express difficulties. We all learn through failures and experiences. Similarly, children learning about failures or achievement through experiential learning. It enables them to express social and emotional difficulties. Experiential learning will teach them to be assertive and also learn social skills, leadership qualities, and problem solving skill and technique. Important requirements for real life situations. You have to remember that learning is not just about academic pursuit but also about life skill. Now let us discuss about the proponent of the experiential learning theory, none other than Carl Rogers. Rogers differentiate two types of learning: cognitive, it means meaningless, and experiential, it means significant. The former corresponds to academic knowledge such as learning vocabulary or multiplication table, and the latter refer to applied knowledge such as learning about engines in order to repair a car. The key to the distinction is the experiential learning addresses the needs and wants of the learner. Rogers lists this quality of experiential learning: personal involvement, self-initiated, evaluated by learner, and pervasive effect on learner. To Carl Rogers, experiential learning is equivalent to personal change and growth. Rogers feels that all human beings have a natural propensity to learn. The role of the teacher is to facilitate such learning. This includes setting up positive climate for learning, clarifying the purposes of the learner, organizing and making available learning resources, balancing intellectual and emotional component of learning, and sharing feelings and thoughts with learner but not dominating. According to Rogers, learning is facilitated when the student participates completely in the learning process and has control over its nature and direction. It is primarily based upon direct confrontation with practical, social, personal, research problems, and self-evaluation is the principal method of assessing progress or success. Rogers also emphasizes the importance of learning to learn and an openness to change. There is a cycle which followed can help us our experience based at learning. Experiencing, once we experience some things, An activity occurs, meaning any or all activity teaches us something. After the activity, we share it, and once we share it, different kind of reactions and observation are shared. After that, we analyze the observation and different dynamics are determined. Dynamics, we can say situations or method can be determined. After that, we infer on it and various principles, rules, laws are derived. And then we apply all the learned in practical teaching or the new situations. So ultimately, all the experience that we get, we use it in our teaching learning process, and thus the cycle is complete. Methods. Now we come to the methods, the different method by which we can collect, gathered all sorts of new information and utilize it in the teaching learning process. The method used are shown in the slides, from field trips to surveys. Everything can be used depending upon the locality of the school, means and support from the guardian and management, and of course the willingness of the teacher. Let's take the method one by one. Why we will discuss, we can also think a way which can suit us and our subject the best. Of course, because of Corona or COVID-19, some of them are difficult, but if we can have a way out, we should think about them. Field trips. Field trip is an educational procedure by which the learners obtain first-hand information by observing places, objects, phenomena, and processes in their natural setting. A field trip, which may also be termed as an instructional trip, school excursion, or school journey, in which students interact with the setting, display, and exhibit to gain an experimental connection to the ideas, concept, and subject matter. Field trips focuses students' experiences outside of the classroom at interactive location designed for educational purposes. Field trips may be planned for 5 purposes: to provide first-hand experience, to stimulate interest and motivation in subject, to add relevance to learning and interrelationship, to give strength to observation and perception skills, and to promote personal development. Field trips take students to locations that are unique and cannot be duplicated in the classroom. Each student observes natural settings and creates personally relevant meaning to the experience. Interactive exhibits help students play with concept activities often not possible in the classroom. Earlier course content suddenly becomes relevant as students assimilate and accommodate new understanding and cognition. The connection between the field trips venue and the classroom link, the field trips experiential learning with prior experiences and learning from the classroom. To save money and time from preparation and traveling, some instructors choose to simply use the school computers and take digital field trips. Options are plentiful, and students no doubt learn from the digital experience. But students only experience what the media think is important, and the student do not encounter a multi-dimensional activity in which all their senses are fully involved. In contrast, field trips are experiential, authentic social event that create a new way of knowing an object, concept, or operation. Quality experiences leads to deeper learning and interest development. Purposes of field trips. Now, the whole purpose of the field trip is to give exposure to our children and introduce them to real situations. As we know, there are different kind of multiple intelligence, so different children learn in different way. Going out on a school day, and that too with a purpose, excite the children and they get eager to learn. They meet different people, visit different places, get opportunities to connect. So altogether, they get away from the rote learning and learn by doing or experiencing. Now we should follow few guidelines while arranging a field trips. Guideline for field trips: before the field trips, during the field trips, and after the field trips. Before the field trips, the teacher should visit the venue prior to the field trip to learn the layout of the venue and determine whether the venue is suitable for all the students. During the student orientation prior to the field trip, the teacher should prepare a student by describing the venue and its layout. The student should understand the focus or purpose of the experience through a lesson designed or prepare a conceptual foundation on which the student may connect their experiences. There are three variables that prepare a student for field trips: understanding the venue layout, the focus of the activity, and being prepared to be in an open, informal venue. There is little question that a field trip is valuable experience for the student, but it is important that the teacher connect the students' experiences on the trip with concepts and lesson taught in the classroom. The field trip should not be a stand-alone experience. During the field trip, as the field trip begins, the teacher may need to help some student become comfortable in the new environment. As activities begin, the teacher should be prepared to interpret the venue's program, leaders' commentary to any unfocused or confused students. During the field trip, experience learning in an authentic, informal, natural setting. Each student prior knowledge gained both them from the class and for the personal out of school experiences is used to make connections to the field trip experience. The teacher should keep the student engaged. The venue staff should work in concert with the teacher to help students make connections between the experience and the concept involved. Generally, it is our duty to keep the activity interesting. Teacher often utilize worksheet to help students focus on exploring and learning the targeted concept. Worksheets are quite effective when one worksheet is given to a small group in which the students are better observed, interact more frequently, discuss the concept, and ultimately develop more connection between the concept and the experience. After the field trips, the teacher's action after the field trips are very important. The students' experiences need to be reinforced through discussion, activities, reading, a television show or movie. Students should discuss their observation and experiences, and in the case of elementary grades, create presentation to share with their classmates. During the remainder of the school year, the teacher should connect new classroom concept to the student field trip experiences. The other way of experiential learning is narratives. Narrative are told from a defined point of view, often the authors, so there is feeling, specifics, and often sensory details provided to get the reader involved in the elements and sequence of the story. You can set a narrative before starting a lesson, but it should be to the point and often about the author so that there is a feeling. You should involve emotional aspect also so that the listener get connected and involved too. The language teachers can use this technique during their literature classes. The purpose of setting a narrative is to connect with your children. The narrative should be based on personal experiences and should be introduced in the form of a story. Even in maths, when we teach the fundamental addition and subtraction, we can tell a story. Like Samar got cheated because he did not know addition or subtraction. So when we can frame the story, we should keep in mind that it includes plot character, setting, climax, anticlimax, and ending. You should be very particular about the details, and all the details should relate with the main point, and we should also make clear the writer's point of view. The next way that help in experiential learning by doing it through experiments. Experiments can be done by the student on trial and error methods. This can either give them the desired result or it may not. Both way, they learn a theory and establish a validity for a particular topic or hypothesis. Through experiments, children learn the cause and effect by demonstrating themselves. So, an operation or procedure carried out under controlled condition in order to discover an unknown effect or law, to test or establish a hypothesis, or to illustrate a known law is experiment. Simulation is a technique for practice and learning that can be applied to many different disciplines and trainings. It is technique, not a technology, to replace and amplify real experiences with guided ones, often immersive in nature, that evoke or replicate substantial aspect of the real world in fully interactive fashion. A simulation is the imitation of the operation of a real world process or system over time. Simulations require the use of models. The model represents the key characteristics or behavior of the selected system or process, whereas the simulation represents the evolution of the model over time. Simulation-based learning can be the way to develop health professionals' knowledge, skills, and attitudes while protecting patients from unnecessary risk. Simulation-based medical education can be a platform which provide a valuable tool in learning to mitigate ethical tension and resolve practical dilemma. Simulation-based training technique, tools, and strategies can be applied in designing structured learning experiences, as well as be used as a measurement tool linked to targeted teamwork, competencies, and learning objectives. It has been widely applied in fields such as aviation and the military. In medicine, simulation offer good scope for training of interdisciplinary medical team. The realistic scenario and equipment allow for retraining and practice till one can master the procedure or skill. An increasing number of healthcare institutions, and medical schools are now turning to simulation-based learning. Teamwork training conducted in the simulated environment may offer an additive benefit to the traditional educational instruction, enhanced performance, and possibility also help reduce errors. Now, advantage of simulation. Now, the advantage of simulation, this can be made be fun session where children enjoy a lot in the activity design as it is motivating also. Suppose you take the work of clay or any other outdoor activity, the children will feel positive as they can relate their activity with the results they get and also enjoy the process while doing it, which is principle of constructive. So simulating things or the topic, children appreciate the aspect of the concept. Of course, when we learn by doing things, it is bound to generate critical thinking among the learners. Disadvantage of simulation. Now, like the two sides of a coin, the simulation has some disadvantages also. The biggest problem is to manage time with the burden of syllabus. We really need time to simulate and try something different. Cost is another factor which might hinder the cause. And most of all, as everything has to be assessed in the end, it's rather difficult to assess as you cannot divide the mark. Obviously, the whole purpose of simulation is to make the children learn by doing. A new topic can be learned easily by doing, and students can learn the nuances or the hidden fact or minor fact of a concept. How to do it? We have to prepare before we ask the children to participate. We should have sample questions with answers before the children start asking, and it should be clear what we wish to accomplish after the class. Steps involved in defining the de-employment of simulation are problem defining, project planning, system defining, model formulation, input data collection and analysis, model translation, verification and validation, experimentation and analysis. First of all, problems should be defined appropriately, then move forward, but if not, then stop the further process to redefine the problem. It is followed by determination of cost and benefit. It moving towards the expectation, then the next steps of planning and scheduling is done. If adequate resources are available, the next step to follow the system for a specific goal under the parameter decided. Now, it is followed by formulation of model, data collection and its analysis, verification and validation of data. If unappropriated results comes out, then there is a need to revisit the whole process. Otherwise, further step of experimentation and analysis is done. How to adapt it? When we adapt simulation, we have to be careful about time, the content, and the expectation. Then only we can accomplish what we want to convey. Games and sports or playing help the children to work out their feeling, that is freak out. Play helps to develop social skill. Also, children become free, they talk and share with their peers. They open up, which help in their learning also. Storytelling. Storytelling is again a very good medium of teaching, as you can convey your thoughts, improving it with the help of images and sound. A storytelling can be told in an interesting fashion that it can capture the moment in such a way that one can never forget, it can be immortalized. Through storytelling, we can transport the listener to a different time or place through our word and action. Focused imaging through imaging student experience situation firsthand, and it allows the children to relax and allows their imagination to assess new height. Imaging enables students to relax and allow their imagination to take them on journeys, experience situations firsthand, respond with their senses to the mental image form. Imaging provided a focus and opportunity for open-minded exploration of new concepts in all areas of study. Imaging exercise, nurture, and develop student creative potential. It is a good medium for open-ended experiences and exploration of new concepts and ideas in their studies. It also helps to nurture and develop the creative potential of the child. Field observation. As from the picture, it is clear that we can also take the student to field, but we can relate it with particular subject and take children for an observation and learning. Geography teachers can use this to teach the children about soil, grains, rabi and kharif, etc. Science teacher even can use this technique to teach about plants, animals, their features, adaptation for survival, classification of organisms, and many more. Role playing. In role playing, students act out characters in a predefined situation. Allow students to take risk-free position by acting out characters in hypothetical situation. Can help them understand the range of concern, value, and position held by other people. Literature teacher, English, Hindi, or even third language can take the help of role play to make the children understand about the story or poem. If I am not wrong, few years back, J.S. Tarapur had staged the play Merchant of Venice and even Tempest. Everyone enjoyed and even understood the play of Shakespeare in a much better way. It was appreciated by teachers as well as students. The teacher of my school have also witnessed the program. Model building involved the creation of models either from kits or from material and component acquired by the builders. This is a beautiful tool for the science and even social science teachers. Science exhibitions held in schools can be related to model building. Once again, children learn by doing, and thus it is a useful way of experiential learning. The survey, the purpose of survey depends what the survey is used for. It is a method of gathering information from a selection of individuals. The survey helps to collect data which would help to study fact in a better way. A whole new concept of data scientist or analyst is coming up. This is based on survey and data. A very good and recent example of survey, Prashant Kishore, just because of the survey done and the data collected, is able to win elections for a number of politicians like Nitish Kumar in Bihar and Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal. Thank you, teachers. I hope you enjoyed the session. This is Ashok sir calling off for today. Thank you once again.